Hey everyone, it's been a while, but here I am. I'm gonna vent a little bit because I'm upset and frustrated. So, first I want to wish you all well in light of all of this corona nonsense which I can openly talk about because I'm not monetized and I don't care. It's so liberating in a way. But with that said, take care of yourselves, take care of the ones you love, and take care to make sure you parcel out the information that you ingest. Um, Michiganders, these you can see on the screen are your senators. Okay? These are where your senators, right here, Gary Peters, and I can't stand her face Stabenow, Debbie Stabenow, voted nay on us getting our stimulus package. Then on the next day, here's them voting no again on our stimulus package. So I have an idea, Democrats. I'm a Trump supporter. Don't go vote for Trump. I don't care. Don't love Trump. Hate him. Don't vote for these ignorant people who you vote into office who have nothing but their own interests and definitely not yours in in their heart, in their minds, okay, and definitely in their policy. They voted no on that. Vote no on them. Don't vote against your best interests. I can't stress that enough. Again, I'm not saying go out and become a Republican and tear up your Democrat voting card. Don't vote for people who, when it comes time to vote to help you, they say no, nay, look, nay, nay. I know they're voting on this again today. Nay and nay. When it comes time in November to vote, vote nay. Don't vote at all for them. Um, Ironically, I was thinking about this. This is a small tangent. Tim Pool and a lot of other people I was watching, they bash Biden. I can't remember his old name, ironically. Um, Biden on one thing that's interesting to me, which is he tells people, "Don't vote for me. Vote for the other guy." And people are like, "Oh no, you don't do that. That's bad, Biden." But I'm like, in a way, it's respectful. He's not saying vote against. He's not saying vote for a party. He's not saying vote on ignorance. He's saying that sounds like you say A is Democrat and B is Republican, and you agree with B. So why should I tell you to vote for A? I want you to vote. That's the point. Vote. Go out and vote. Sorry, I got there. Now, and with this, as you know, I was just thinking about it, as much as people say, talk going back to the voting on the Democrat side, and again, hopefully vote nay on Democrats this upcoming election. But people say very often, people are blind Trump supporters, Trump tards, all these things. They'll never vote against him. I would not vote for Trump if he was not for what now I know you may not think, and that's a debate to be had. You may not think he's voting, or I'm not voting in my best interest, and that's okay because I think the same about you. But I think I'm voting in my best interest. I wouldn't vote for a senator, a governor, or the president of the United States, Donald Trump included, if this election he's like, you know what, I'm going socialist. Yeah, socialized medicine is great, and here's your Second Amendment rights, and then freedom of speech also. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, well, I still Trump though. No, this is start paying attention again. You don't always have to vote for people you think. If you're gonna vote for, not going to vote for Trump because you think he's not voting in your best interest, look, they're not voting in your best interest either. Um, and then I wanted to talk just about the coronavirus in general. Talk to your kids, talk to the younger ones, and ask specific questions. Like I asked two of my daughters. My youngest is kind of doesn't care about any of this, but my middle one, when I asked, well, what do you think is gonna? I asked both of the oldest. I said, what do you think happens when you get sick? And they said, my oldest says you go to the hospital. The second one says you probably die. I'm like, see, like, no, you read about, two more people died today, three more people died today, 50 people died altogether in Michigan. But thousands of people are sick right now, don't even know and survived and didn't go to the hospital with the coronavirus. Thousands more, hundreds of thousands, dozens today, dozens probably while I'm doing this video are going to the hospital and not dying, not keeling over in the streets, not, it's not like there's a cloud going around that when you touch, you just die. Talk to the people about this, about the whole curve thing is interesting and it's valid. Um, One thing I want to slow down and make sure I emphasize is that I am not impressed with the government's response to this. I want to see local responses. I live in the suburbs of Michigan, of Detroit, I'm sorry, and dozen miles north, people don't go to Detroit for anything. Now, they still can't go to their Walmart. They still can't go to the places they frequent because senators, governors, maybe even mayors sometimes forget what it's like to be a person who has to go to the store, a person who doesn't have staff, a person who doesn't have a government mansion, a governor's mansion, given to them, who doesn't have all these things provided for them, who, no matter what, I'm sorry, governor, if you get a coronavirus diagnosis, do you know what you're going to get? Top tier treatment. Um, it's I want to see these, differentiation in the level of policy. Like I say, there's a massive difference between my life here in Sterling Heights than in Detroit, and then further up in Algonac, it's even more so different. We shouldn't be doing these blanket policies. Let local governments look around them and make their assessment. And ironically enough, if there is no law whatsoever in place, zero laws, meaning I can walk out of my house, do whatever I want, do you know what I can still do? Quarantine myself, not go out, self isolate, socially distance myself from people, all of those things. You don't have to close down the restaurant down the street who may want to stay open. And I may want to eat there, and I'm not sick, and they're not sick, and they may have a couple people come. They may do carryouts that I could have done that I can't do now. It's just these little things. I'm in the middle of trying to transition from my car lease is up on April 2nd, and my apartment lease is up over this next month, and I'm trying to transition. Now all of a sudden I can't. I can't get a moving company to come out. I can't get someone to come look at my apartment. I can't do anything because apparently there's clouds of death out there that will envelop you and just instantly rip the flesh from your skin if you get that coronavirus, the raccoon virus. It's awful. No, dumb. Let people live their lives. It's not a black death. People are capable of making good decisions without locking them in, without the decision to make the ability to make that decision for themselves, for their kids, for their family, for their community, for their schools, for their businesses, for their local businesses that they support, for their social networking, for all these, for church groups, all these things that I'm not particularly privy to. That it's something. It's just interesting if you take some time and look outside of your wheelhouse at the things that this is affecting. It's just very interesting. Church wasn't something I would have thought. Oh man, but it's a real thing again. And people can choose not to go. Churches can choose to have certain areas partitioned, whatever. They can do that. They can not get sick. They could get sick. It's just I am very hesitant to ever give the government more power and especially more power over my rights. And I don't want to give them power over your rights. I don't know. I'm not scared of the corona. I'm not scared of going out there and dying about the raccoon cloud enveloping me and all that. I'm not scared of when my kids get sick. I'll take them to the hospital. Um, I'm scared that this stuff is going to stay. I'm scared of seeing the things Democrats are trying to sneak into these bills about demographics in companies and equity boards and what? I know people who don't have groceries. They don't care what the airline is going to do if they get that money, how they do it. And what's interesting is I'm watching the young turds, and these, they're saying, "Oh, we shouldn't give money to companies and businesses and corporations." I'm like, when all of you get out of out of this funk, wherever, if you're in New York in lockdown, if you're here quarantined or self isolated, whatever, and you come out of your house or your cave or your bunker, you're not going to have anything to go back to work to because ignorant Democrats don't think that your job is a priority. They don't. It's just it's, I don't want to say it's sad that they're politicking because it's a political issue. They are doing it at the expense of the benefit of people, and especially you Democratic voters. Spoiler alert, no one on the right was surprised. No one in the center was surprised. We know what Democrats are going to do. And again, this is not a slight against Democrats eternally. I'm not one of those people. I know times change, things change, the spectrum change, the um, Overton window opens, closes, moves, and shifts. Democrats today are in abortion. Speaking of abortion, I'm going to go into that in a moment. for this country right now. They're in a they're just tearing it apart. There's nothing there. But I was reading that people are up in or the not people again. The media is trying to tell me I need to be up in arms and scared and paranoid and stay in my house and lock everything and not go anywhere. Don't look at anyone. Don't hit anyone. Don't buy anything. Don't shake. Don't look. Don't nothing. Because 50 people have died total in Michigan. And I'm looking here at just different things like whether it's car accidents, strokes, which heart disease, which is a lot of what you shove in your mouth, me included. I'm not the best eater. um, More people die every day, and again, the other thing about this is it's a new virus, so we don't even have treatment yet. Spoiler alert, it's gonna get better. Do you remember the bird flu and SARS and all those? Yeah, and do you remember what happened after? I hope so. Pay attention. This is just a wider version of it. It's not clouds of death. Um, and then people talking about, the hospital. I was just perusing and looking, and I'm like, and again, from what I understand, these statistics are just elderly people. These are medical. Again, I could be, if I'm going to point to them out of like you can see it. So these are Medicare people who were in hospital who died every year. So every year we have, you can look at the annual year at the rates, not even rates. These are oh yeah, percentages. Oh wow. So that's more than I thought. Not, I'm going to make sure I'm reading this right because I thought it was just 20%, but or 20 individuals. It looks like 20% of people die in hospital care. Um, so I am sure more people die texting on their, uh, texting on their, while they're driving. I'm thinking just texting and walking. Probably people are getting, I don't know about the rate of 50 a year or whatever, but walking into things or walking in the cars, just the sheer amount of things we do. But people die swimming, taking baths, eating, chewing on food every year. We don't try to ban any of that. We don't lock down the cities and because of it. And we shouldn't start. We should start fighting this. We should start voting nay on Democrats in 2020. November is coming up. Do it. Um, Again, talk to people about this. Just inform them. And if it comes down to the right side of the political spectrum doing the same, be on board with it. There were a couple more things I wanted to touch on here, but oh, abortions. Did I? Yeah, I can't remember the stat. Where was it? Um, I guess I could look it up, but I'm not. I'm gonna leave it out. This is, I guess, a challenge, but if I recall correctly, and I'm not the smartest guy, so I have a calculator up here. There's like 25 um was it 25,000 abortions a year in Michigan. So I'm not smart. I'm Polish, so I'll do my math. So if we do that, that's 68 deaths a day. 68 babies are murdered a day. We don't ban abortion. We don't say we need to do something about this epidemic. Um, Look at some statistics. Take a moment and just look at abortion survivors. It's It happens every year, every day almost. I don't know about every day, but abortion rates are increasing. I can't imagine it's that far off. Um, so we have over 60 deaths a day from of babies in a womb, and I'm again. This is just for some context. I'm not a. I don't consider myself a Republican. I consider myself a slightly right-leaning centrist. I'm not religious. I don't believe abortion is bad because God and hell. I don't believe you should do anything on your life based on God and hell and Jesus, unless that is what you decide. I don't do it. I won't hold you to that. But we have a myriad of things to do other than killing a baby in a womb. Before that baby is even starting to form, we could do things. I'm gonna close it with this. I was thinking about it the other day about how look back at things, and slavery is one, sexism is one, all genocides. Um, we do some terrible things to each other, and when we look back at slavery, it's hard to look at. One day we're gonna look back and we've killed billions of babies, murdered billions of babies. and we don't have to. It's just it's that simple. There are lots of other methods, lots of other things to do. The last thing I'm going to mention briefly is this is just again another event. One point to look at. These stimulus bills are costing you and your kids. Some of you may not have kids, and this stimulus bill is costing them and you money that that you'll never get back. Um, so just as an alternative, one thing to consider is if we didn't have to pay these later in our lives, pay these these astronomical high taxes. Um, do you know what people could do to support Planned Parenthood, for an example? They could donate and charity money. They wouldn't have to mandatory put a gun to your head. Now, on the same aspect, I don't like a gun to my head saying you're going to put this money to Planned Parenthood and you're going to put this money to these causes. I don't like it. I don't like that for you. I don't like that broadness to it. I don't know. I can't fathom what people are going to look back at and think at just that aspect of today. War happens in nature, violence happens in nature, conflict happens in nature. I don't mean human nature, I just mean animals. Ants fight each other, gorillas fight each other, wolves fight bears, animals kill each other. They do that to eat usually, to protect their young, sometimes because of survival instincts, things they're born with in their DNA. I don't think we were born to say, man, I just don't like that. Hey, honey, let's get rid of it. It's super hard. I don't want that right now. And then, oh man, I'm just young. I didn't plan on this. Just, what are people gonna think, man? I think the same thing about genital mutilation. And when I say that, some people for some reason forget circumcision is genital mutilation, and that female genital mutilation is just a little blip compared to male genital mutilation, or when you chop off parts of males' penises that they're not going to get back and don't have a choice at. There are some people, me included, I wish I had my foreskin. You know what I would have loved to do? Learn to wash my penis like I wash my hands. Because that's one of the excuses. Oh, it's so dirty. It's so dirty. And the kids, and well, you know what you do with your fucking hands? I'm sorry to cuss. I may have to edit that out or something. If you stick your diseased, filthy hands in your eyes and your face, the same thing can happen to what happens to your penis if you don't clean it. It gets dirty, can get infection, all kinds of diseases. Or your ears if you don't clean them that you can't see right now. If I didn't clean my ears in here, I could be getting infection. Noses, teeth. You could get all your teeth for not taking care of blown out, just like a penis. But miraculously, I haven't heard of too many males dying from dirty penis, lack of circumcision. Haven't. Show me the stats, please. I'd love that. I can guarantee you more boys die getting their penis chopped as a child, screaming when they have no choice. More people will die of that than not cleaning their penis. I'll take that bet, will you? Let's do some research together. I'm going to end this because now I'm ranting. I planned on like an 8-minute video, and by 8, I lasted it out to 18. I wasn't planning on that. I hope you all have a wonderful time, as wonderful of a time as you can. Again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other and the ones you love, and think. Don't, just because, well, even more so now that if you're stuck inside, maybe do a little bit of research outside of your wheelhouse. Use that for something other than watching kitten videos and dumb stuff like that. Love y'all. Hope you take care of yourselves. Take it easy.